Hey y'all, and Squid Sports, and we're going to be talking about the AFC playoff wild card. We're going to give some reactions to that, and I guess a little bit of predictions for the next upcoming round. So, Nick,
Yeah.
what's your take on the first? Well, let's do the Titans game, Titans versus Patriots, or Titans at Patriots.
Yeah, that was, for me, it was kind of a shocker. I thought the Patriots would kind of get this one just because they were at home. But it was mainly because they were at home. I think the Titans are pretty inconsistent still. I still do a little bit. So it was a little bit of a shock to me. Not a huge shock because, the Patriots are they've shown signs this whole year of weakness. So it was a little bit of a shock though still, just because of Brady and Belichick. They haven't lost a home playoff game since 2012, so it didn't seem like they would have lost this one. But, towards the end of the game, you kind of saw Ryan Tannehill play pretty well towards the end, and he just kind of, played better than Tom Brady did. So, yeah, that's what I thought of it.
So, I predict the Titans win. I'm pretty proud of that prediction, to be honest. I've been claiming that the Patriots are overrated this whole season. Their defense has been going against really weak talent, and that's why it's the number one overall defense, which is a complete lie. It's not true.
They're still good.
They're still good, and I'll give them that. And I think Stephon Gilmore deserves Defensive Player of the Year, but they're not the number one overall defense. Derrick Henry looked amazing that game.
They did.
Even though the Titans' offensive line is rated pretty bad, Derrick Henry's over there getting a ton of yak yards. He was that offense. And I wasn't actually that impressed with Tannehill. I will say, though, the way that ended, Brady might have thrown his last pass might have been a pick six.
You think it's his last pass, in general, or as a Patriot?
He's going to play for another team.
Okay.
But actually, I don't think Brady was playing that bad the game. I think his players were dropping passes. He was throwing some nice balls. The game would have been completely different probably if Edelman wouldn't have dropped the pass.
Man, that was a bad drop.
Yeah,
that was bad.
And Edelman doesn't really drop passes too often. Brady should have caught that. Would have been a first down. Who knows how the game would have changed? Maybe they get a field goal. But the Titans are going against the Ravens next week. And I don't want to mention this. The Titans are one of the only teams I think that can actually beat the Ravens because they can beat them at their own game, which is just running the ball and controlling the clock.
Yeah.
The way Derrick Henry's been playing these last 2 months has been insane. And he can control the clock, and the Ravens can be slowed down, not letting Lamar Jackson control the ball and run it, forcing him to pass the whole game. We're about to see an interesting game, and people think it's going to be a blowout maybe. I actually think it's going to be close, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans come in there and upset two games in a row.
It's just, for me, that's so unlikely for that to happen. I don't know the stats on how often that's happened for a 6 seed to win and get to the conference championship. I'm not sure, but it's probably not very likely for that to happen. But I see your point, and I've said that the whole year about the Ravens. You need to stop Lamar, you have to make him throw. And no team has done super great at that so far. I mean, there's been teams that have slowed him down a little. But I don't know about the Titans being that team. I'm not sure. I do like Derrick Henry and the way he's been playing, but I just don't know if he can do it all by himself. I mean, the Ravens are a 1 seed for a reason, and the Titans are a 6 seed for a reason. I mean, it happened that way. And I just think it's going to be a little too much for them to overcome. But I will say the Titans did look good. And my point on Tannehill was he didn't look great the whole game, but at the end he made a couple of good plays. That read option that he kept for first down at the very end, that was really good by him. He went right into somebody. He didn't just slide. He dove for that. So he played good at the end. And with Tannehill, I think he's limited too. I don't think he's getting older.
He's 34, I think.
Yeah, and so he wants a long-term deal. That's another question. Is he even going to get that? I don't really know.
The Titans might have to pay him after that win right there.
I don't know, man. Especially if he beats the Ravens, that would be.
Derrick Henry's
you would
also
have to.
a free agent this offseason.
So Tennessee has a lot of decisions to make. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so let's move over to the Texans and Bills game, which I'd say was the game of the week.
I gotta let you go first. You gotta go first.
So as the resident Texans fan on here, I'll admit, the first half I was texting him and I was like, bro, That was horrible. That was, oh man, sheesh, that first half. And I still want our defensive coordinator, Romeo Crennel, fired. And I want him canned so badly. The team just looks unprepared in the first half. Yeah. But then I'll give it credit to Bill O'Brien and Tim Kelly, I believe, is our offensive coordinator. They made some great halftime adjustments. Actually, just the whole team in general made great halftime adjustments. They slowed down the Bills. And Deshaun Watson, wow, he just, I mean, goodness. He plays a way that he can lose you the game by playing so hero ball. But he played hero ball this time and it worked. And Tywan Jones ran 30, 40 yards at the 10-yard line, and I was freaking out. The Texans without Will Fuller can still be a little bit bland. They seem to not always want to run the ball with Carlos Hyde, which is sort of an enigma to me because he's one of your best runners, but they like running the ball with Duke Johnson. I like that. Deshaun Watson is learning to pass quicker now, and DeAndre Hopkins, he hasn't had a flashy season, but he showed up when it's mattered. He caught that bomb from Deshaun Watson against Tre'Davious White, who's one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL right now. This team wants to win. J.J. Watt is back. I don't know how you haven't heard of that yet, but he made some great plays. We'll see how they go against the Chiefs. They have beaten the Chiefs before. I don't think they can beat them again just because the Chiefs are fully healthy, but Will Fuller's expected to be back. Next week's going to be a toss-up.
So, what I thought about this game was, well, to be fair, I'm just going to say I watched the first half and I had to go somewhere for the second half. So I really didn't watch until overtime. So I missed the whole second half and then I watched the overtime. So I missed the whole Texans comeback. So I can't really talk about it a whole lot. I watched the highlights of it. After that first half, I'm like, there's no way Texans are coming back from this. There's no way. Like, it's not happening. And I feel like what the Bills, well, to the Texans' credit, they came back. But I feel like the Bills, and most teams, when they get up like that, they just play conservative and they just try to run the ball. And I feel like they needed to keep going, keep pushing. And I don't feel like they did that. I didn't watch it, so I don't know for sure what they did. But when a team, gives up 19 unanswered points or whatever it was, you have to be playing pretty conservatively or turning the ball over. I don't know. I just feel like the Texans got this one. Don't think they can do it again. I just really don't.
Right now, they have the worst odds to win a Super Bowl.
The worst odds?
Yeah, the Titans have more of a chance than the
That's
Texans.
pretty crazy to me, honestly, because the Texans have, I think, an easier path. Like, going through Kansas City would be, to me, a lot easier than the Ravens. Mm-hmm. But once again, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson's never really been to the playoffs before, as the head quarterback, but as the starter. So, I mean, he's Patrick Mahomes has been there before, so maybe that's why. But still, I don't really think the Texans can do it. If Will Fuller doesn't play, it's done. It's done. I feel like, because with the Chiefs' weapons, with the many weapons they have, Tyreek Hill, Hardman, Kelsey, their running backs, Patrick Mahomes, it's going to be tough to overcome that. Just with, Hopkins is great, that. Kenny Stills is good, but without another deep threat like Fuller, it's going to be tough. Yeah. So I just don't think it's possible. I know I can't give a whole lot of analysis because I didn't see the second half, but they did win it. You got to give them credit for that. Josh Allen's still really young. He played
pretty well.
He played pretty well that was his first playoff game?
That was his first playoff game.
So, that's pretty good for your first playoff game away from home. So, you got to give credit where credit's due. So, I guess I'll give the Texans credit. I don't like doing that, but, I'll give it to them for that.
The Bills definitely showed that they're about a year away from,
they're really coming
up. I think next year they can potentially just take over the AFC North.
Hey, you got to get maybe a receiver in the draft. There's a bunch of receivers in this draft, so maybe even a first-round pick on a receiver.
And even some free agents. We have AJ Green's going to be a free agent. Maybe pick him up, pair him up with John Brown and Cole Beasley. That's a good.
Or even get AJ Green. Maybe get a guy like Jerry Jeudy in the draft. Who knows? Like, if you get that, then you have Devin Singletary in the backfield. Your defense is great.
They have a winning formula. They
definitely do.
Josh Allen needs another year to develop.
Yeah.
And the Texans, they're
there.
I don't know what to think of them. They're very infuriating to watch.
Yeah.
But if you like close games, you can watch them because they're always in it.
And it just feels like with Bill O'Brien, like, is he the right? I just don't know if he's the right guy. But you can't fire him after winning the division over and over.
He had one losing season.
But still, in the playoffs, he just doesn't do anything, which is so tough. Like, what do you do with a coach who gets to the playoffs but doesn't go any further? Like, he's not bad, apparently, but, like, he's just not.
And I've been a big fan of him GMing this season, actually. I mean, he's gotten Tunsil, which without Tunsil, I'm not quite sure we would have made the playoffs.
Probably not.
Same thing with Stills. Without Stills, I'm not sure we would have made the playoffs or offense would have been that good.
Because this Texans are relying a lot on their offense right now, especially in J.J. Watt without Clowney.
There was improvement
pretty rough.
with J.J. Watt back. I did see more pass rush, which was needed.
Definitely.
Conley played great. Cornerback acquired from the Raiders. Hargraves, please tackle. He gave me a lot of heart attacks. But we have a good team. Next, I'd say for these upcoming playoffs, we got 4 really good games about to come up.
Yeah, we do. So, anything else you want to say about these? So, those are our AFC Wildcard reactions. Stay tuned for more content, and we'll see you guys next time.